Now, the show me function is working great as long as the user stays within our guidelines, which by the way, we haven't told them. But if you notice the images, they go from 0 to 10. So if there's get a really big ice cream cone, so say you have 10 vanilla scoops and 2 chocolate, and we say show me, what do? We get this error. It says images/cone12.jpg, and we don't have a 12. We have this limitation that we only go to 10. So we need to deal with that inside our JavaScript code. JavaScript is a programming language, so we can use lots of the regular coding practices. So let's use the if statement, and we can say, you know what, if total scoops, right, if it's greater than 10, then we can't do the regular thing that we were going to do because it won't work. So let's do two things. Let's set the cone to 0. So we can just say, okay, here's the source attribute. So go get that picture and set it equal to, don't add it up. We know it's too many, just set it to 0. So we can just say set it to images/cone equal to 0. So that's straightforward. And then let's put a message so that the user knows what we're doing. So we have a message access down here, that heading 3 at the bottom for description. And we can just change it. We can say .inner HTML. We can say, inner HTML equals, that is too big. All right, that is too big. Please keep the number of scoops to less than 10. So we provided a message. The other problem that we can have is if it's less than 0. So if they put negative numbers in there, so notice that that's a possibility, right? They just can simply say -8, -2, -3, and 0. Show me, we'll get the same problem because it'll look for cone -5, and we don't have that either. So now we want to use an else if, because we're going to put a third one for the else. So else if total scoops is less than 0, we also have a problem. So we can put inside our else if, we want to do the same thing. We'll go ahead and set the cone image to 0, and in the description we'll say that is too small. Please keep the number of scoops greater than 0. And then finally we can use that trailing else to identify what we want to do. If it's not greater than 10 and it's not less than 0, what do we want to have happen? We want our regular thing to happen. This is what we expect. We just have to protect it. And we don't actually have to change the message at this point. We can just say that it worked. So if we refresh and we put in a large value and we say show me, it says, oh, that is too big. Please keep the scoop less than 10. If we put a negative number in, it says, oh, that's too small. And if we put a regular number in, 2 and 1, it will give us the image that we expect. Now look how everything's working as expected, but our last message is still displaying down here, still saying that is too small. So the message no longer applies to what the user has entered. So when everything works, let's go ahead and change the message as well, so that we get rid of any error message that happens to be there. So we can just say, looking good. Now when they make an error and get something too big and they get an error, they fix it and it comes up, it displays the amount and looking good.